Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Shut Up and Read. Today I'll be doing the K-pop book tag. I was tagged by XO Nikki, so thank you for tagging me, and I'll link her video down below for you to check her out. But anyways, let's just get right into the video. So like Nikki, I decided to do my questions based on the second gen because I recognized I think there was probably 2 groups on there total that I wasn't really aware of, and I actually got to go and find their music videos to decide which one I liked for each of the questions. So anyways, let's just get right into all the questions. So question number 1 is Girls' Generation. And for this question, it says to pick a book that girls would like. Honestly, this was kind of a hard question for me because I feel like anyone can read anything. So if the fact that this question asks me like a book that girls can like, I don't know, that's just kind of a weird question to me because a book can be appreciated and read by literally anyone in the world. I can't imagine someone not being able to enjoy a book based on their gender, etc. So I was a little confused with this one, but because of the question, I decided to go with something more cutesy and romantic, and I decided to go with To All the Boys I Loved Before series by Jenny Han. So the reason why I picked this one is because it's a romantic comedy, and I feel like generally girls tend to gravitate towards that kind of stuff a little more, which is why I decided to pick this series. But again, like I said, I think all books can be appreciated and read by anyone. But anyways, for those who don't know what the series is about, so the books follow a girl called Laura Jean who is in high school, and throughout her entire life she has been getting all these intense crushes, and rather than openly admitting about them, she decides to write them these very intense love letters, and rather than send them out, she seals them and keeps it in her hat box. And then one day the letters get sent out, and now she has to deal with the aftermath of her letters being sent out into the world and dealing with her crushes from her past. And then comedy and romance ensues, and honestly it's just a really great series that really tugs at your heartstrings and lets you believe in love again, I guess. But anyways, that was my pick for question number 1. Question number 2, VIXX. So this is one where I really had to refresh my memory because I haven't listened to VIXX since forever ago, I think when they first came out, and there was a few songs that I enjoyed back in the day, and I really had to go listen and watch the music videos again to refresh my memory on VIXX. And the question for VIXX is a book with the best cover or the best cover in your opinion. So for this question, I decided to pick the entire trilogy of His Fair Assassin by Robin Lefevers, and as you can tell here, the covers are really pretty. I really like, so this is the first book, and this is book 2 and book 3, and I don't know, I just really like this layout of each cover. The colors are really pretty, and this aesthetic just really appeals to me. So these are the books that I picked for this question. So anyways, for those who don't know what these books are about, it follows a girl called Ismay who, due to circumstances, needs to decide whether or not to stay at this convent where she would then be trained to become an assassin and therefore a handmaiden to death. Her latest assignment takes her to the high courts of Brittany, and there she needs to make these impossible choices and possibly fall in love. So that's what these books are about, and honestly, like I said, I really like the cover. I mean, I decided to go with a recent choice, I guess, mainly because I just purchased this like a week ago, and I thought they were really pretty, and therefore I thought they'd be perfect for this question. Question number 3, Orange Caramel, which, by the way, I decided to pick their weirdest music video. I remember when I first saw this ages ago when it first came out, I was just like, what the fuck? Because literally that was my thought for this music video. But anyways, the question for Orange Caramel is the weirdest book that you've read. And I decided to pick An Inheritance of Ashes by Leigh Bobet. Might be pronouncing her last name wrong, but anyways, I read this one in France last year and I did not like it at all. It was definitely by far the weirdest book that I've ever read. I even wrote that in my review that this book was just very strange, it was just weird, etc. So basically what this book is about is that there was this battle with this Dark Lord, and months after the battle, like this final battle had ended, Martha and Haley had been waiting for Martha's husband to return from the battlefield, but he has not yet returned. But then one day, Haley decides to hire this wandering man who just happened to walk past their farm because they needed someone to help tend to their farm. And from that point on, weird things started to happen. The shadows of the men who had died and fought at the battle, the final battle, started to arrive. Ghostly messages also started to appear, and then these strange birds also showed up. So overall, that's basically what the book was about. It was just a very strange novel. I struggled a lot, and it was just a really weird book. So number 4, SHINee. For this question, I decided to pick The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. For those who don't know, Kristen Hanna is one of my favorite authors. Her books are definitely a must-buy or must-read, and when this book first came out, I remember a lot of people were talking about it, and I was itching to pick it up. I don't remember the reason why I didn't do so. I think I just had a lot of other books I was trying to read. And then when I started my whole book buying binge earlier this year, this is one of the first books I decided to pick up because I was like, I need to buy this and read this as soon as possible. And honestly, I haven't read this book yet. I read her most recent novel, Great Alone. Haven't had a chance to pick this one up yet, but I will soon because I have really high expectations for this. But this was definitely a book that I think everyone I knew at that time had already read this because it was just so popular. So honestly, because her books are always just a must-read, must-buy kind of situation for me, I don't really know too much about this book. I just know that it's set in World War II and it follows these two sisters who has to face their own decisions in this turmoil time, and that's basically all I know about this book. And honestly, it doesn't even matter to me because I'm still gonna read it and I'm still gonna fall in love with it because her books are just so good. Question number 5, 4 minutes. But anyways, the question for this is a book that you read super fast / binge read. For this one, I decided to pick another series. I don't have the rest of them anymore because I already finished them and I already returned them. But I'm currently on Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. I am loving the books. I'm currently on page 464 and I should be done with this, if not tonight then tomorrow hopefully, and I can pick up Tower of Dawn hopefully soon because the last book just came out yesterday and I'm just like, ugh. But I love these books. The first few ones, okay, so this is not all of them I was able to binge read because some of them are actually quite long. I mean, this one for example is basically 700 pages, but I did binge read The Assassin's Blade, which is the novella, and I did binge read Throne of Glass as well as Crown of Midnight. I think those 3 books I read within a day each. So those are the 3 books that I'm kind of, you know, gearing this question for, but the thing is I don't have those books right now, so I'm just showing you the book that I'm currently reading in the same series. So for those who don't know what this series is about, it follows a girl called Selena Sardothian who was trained as an assassin since an early age, but she ends up being so much more than that. And the first book just follows her journey as she becomes a king's champion due to this competition, and then from there the rest of the book just really follows her journey with her destiny and then with her role with the whole kingdom / continent. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's magic, there's fantasy, there is romance, there's a ton of action adventure. I am loving the book so far. But anyways, this is my pick for this question. Question number 6, newest. But anyways, the question for newest is a book in a genre that you don't read often. So for this question, I decided to pick Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I actually did a review for this a long time ago when I first started the channel, so I will link that review up in case you want to check that out. But I picked this one because I don't usually read nonfiction or memoirs or anything in that category. I am trying to read more within the past few years or so, mainly because some of the reading challenges that I do usually require a few nonfiction in there. So that's why I decided to pick this one up, and I absolutely love this book. I think I gave it a 5-star for sure. So for those who don't know what the book is about, it's his personal essays, and he just depicts his childhood in South Africa, where at that time it was actually illegal to have half white, half black kids or people around, and he was that. And so he just talks about his childhood during that time when his very existence was illegal. And honestly, because he's a comedian, okay, so I listened to it via audiobook, and because he's a comedian, his inflections and his humor really showed through the book because, I mean, again, they are his personal essays, and therefore he knows exactly when like things are funny, when things are not be funny, and I don't know, like he was so good at that. Like if you have not picked it up, definitely check it out as an audiobook instead, because that was just so good. Question number 7, Davichi. For Davichi, the question is a great book by 2 authors. So for this pick, I decided to go with a book that I haven't read because I haven't read too many actually that were or are by 2 authors. The only one I can think of is actually by 3 authors, and this question says by 2 authors, so I was like, I guess that one's not in the running. But everything else that I read by 2 authors I was okay about or didn't like at all. So because of that, I decided to pick a book that I haven't read, but I am anticipating that this will be a great read due to all the hype that it's had and has been given. So anyways, the book I decided to pick for this question is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Severa. So for those who don't know what this book is about, it follows 2 boys, Arthur and Ben, who have this meet cute situation, and I'm guessing the rest of the book just follows their romantic relationship after this meet cute situation, and that's basically all I know about this book, to be honest, but I feel like that's enough for me. But I'm pretty excited for it. I've heard really good things about it. People that I tend to agree with their reviews really enjoy this, so we'll see if I enjoy this as well. I talked about this book a few times already in my other videos because I'm anticipating that's a great read due to the fact that it's so highly recommended, but at the same time I didn't really like Adam Severa as one of his book, and then I have never read Becky Albertalli's books before, so I don't really know in terms of the authors if I'll like it or not in that sense. But from all the hype, I think I'll like it, so I'm anticipating that it will still be a positive 5-star, if not 5-star, 4-star read. Question number 8, Troublemaker. The question for Troublemaker is a book that you struggle to read. And oh my god, I definitely had quite a number of books to pick, but I decided to go with this one because this one I remember struggling a lot. I remember complaining to a lot of people when I was reading this book. I don't even know why I decided to finish it. I think I was on a readathon at that time, so I was like, I should probably finish it because that way I can at least, you know, check something off the readathon. But anyways, this book is called The Library at the Edge of the World by Felicity Hayes-McCoy. So this book I just really struggle with it, to be honest. I thought it would be good. The cover looked really pretty. I wanted to dive deep into Irish culture and I thought it would be really appealing, but this book was so dry. And the thing is that the main character here, I think she's in her 50s or 60s. I don't even know, to be honest, like definitely late 40s. And so because of that, I wasn't even able to relate to her because she's a generation above me, and I think that just really contributed to the fact that this book was just not the book for me. So for those who don't know what this book is about, it follows a woman called Hannah Casey who moves back to her hometown in Ireland, so it's a small town in Ireland, because she was recently divorced and she moved out of London with her ex-husband. She's also the local librarian at the small town, and her community, for some financial reasons I believe, decided to potentially shut down her library. And so she goes on this journey to keep the library open and to also restore the soul of this broken community. So I don't know, like I thought the idea of a library in Ireland would be really interesting and fascinating, but it was not the case, guys. This book, I seriously struggled. I did finish it, but I definitely gave it a 1-star. Question number 9, Secrets. So I know I picked a music video for this question, but the thing is, I'm going to actually skip it because the question for Secret is a book that you read in secret, and I've never read a book in secret before. I mean, I used to try to hide books that I read with my parents when I was like back in middle school or possibly high school, but that was over, like that was about 15 years ago, guys. I don't remember which books I read during that time, and it's not like I purposely try to hide it from them. I just tried to hide it, like I wasn't reading it as often because I'm supposed to be studying at the time. So I don't really have a book or any books that I've read in secret before. I mean, right now I pretty much carry my books everywhere, and I've been doing so for a while now, since college, and I never felt the need to hide the books that I was reading. So I'm skipping this question because I literally cannot think of any. Question number 10. This one here asked me to pick my favorite group right now, and you guys know that is BTS. So the question for BTS is your favorite series. So I actually just did a whole video about my favorite YA series, so I will link that above for you guys to check it out, because I talked about 5 series and I can't really narrow it down to just one, so I will just kind of cheat here and have you guys refer to that video for reference. Number 11, Boyfriend. This was one that I really had to do some research on because I don't think I've ever listened to any of their songs before, so I kind of listened to just a few, picked one that I liked, and called it a day. But anyways, the question for Boyfriend is a book with your favorite protagonist. So for this one, I decided to pick The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I don't have the book with me right now because my roommate is borrowing it. She never read it before, and I was like, how have you not read this? I like shoved the book on her. I was like, you need to read this right now and let me know what you think about it when you're done. So I don't know when I'll get the book back, to be honest. I think she's reading another series right now. But yeah, I don't have the book with me on hand. So the reason why I decided to pick this book is because I really like Star. I really like the way how she was portrayed and how she really struggled with who she really was and where she really belonged. And honestly, I just found that very relatable because I feel like we've all struggled with that at some point. So anyways, for those who don't know what this book is about, it follows a girl called Star who lives in this very poor / rough neighborhood, but she goes to school at a very fancy suburban prep school, and she basically has 2 versions of herself. The one for her school, where she's Star version number 2, and the one that she uses back at home. And then one night she goes to this party and she meets this old friend that she has not seen for a while. He drives her back home, and on the way home they get stopped by the cops. And there she witnesses the fatal shooting of her friend who was unarmed. And so the rest of the book just really follows her story and how she really needs to come forward with what really happened that night. So the book is amazing. There is a reason why it's been on the New York Times bestseller list for I think 90 weeks now, which basically means for 2 solid years about. So that there's a reason why this book is there, and I loved it. I think it's a book that everyone should read. And yeah, this is the book that I decided to pick for this question. Number 12, Psy.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style.
But anyways, the question for Psy is a book that everyone knows and loves. So there are definitely a number of book or series that I can really pick for this question, but I decided to go with All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han, just because this is a series that is very recent and a lot of people seem to really enjoy it right now, and so I decided to pick this one up for this question. I'm not going to talk too much about what the story is about because I literally just talk about this in the same video, so I will refer you back to question number 1 for what this book is about. But anyway, those are all the questions for this book tag. Again, thank you so much for tagging me, XO Nikki. I need to figure out who to tag now, so I will be figuring out who to tag, and I'll tag them down below because I need to kind of figure out who listens to K-pop first before I tag them, because if they don't listen to K-pop, I don't think they will really want to do this one. I feel like that'd be kind of hard for them to do. But yeah, anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. If you agree with any of my choices for any of the questions, let me know down below. If you listen to K-pop, let me know down below who's your favorite group, singer, etc. Which song of theirs you like. Maybe I can go check them out. But anyway, that's all to say for this video. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you. Bye.